Just before the Israelites attacked Jericho on their way into the Promised Land, they did two things that they hadn't done in quite some time. One was all the adult males were circumcised, which hadn't taken place for any of the adult males the entire time that they were in the wilderness for 40 years. And the second thing might surprise you. They celebrated the Passover. That might not surprise you. But it was the first time they celebrated the Passover since 1 year after leaving Egypt. You might remember what the Passover is. The Passover was the annual meal they were supposed to celebrate as a reminder of how God delivered them from slavery in Egypt. There were the different plagues that God sent against the Egyptians, and the very last plague was the plague of the firstborn, when the angel of the Lord came into Egypt and killed all the firstborn sons of every household except those who took the blood of a lamb and painted it over their doorframe. The angel of the Lord passed over those doors and spared everyone inside the house. And that was enough, the pain involved with all of that, that was enough for Pharaoh to say, I don't want to see the Israelites anymore, and he finally told them to go. And that started their 40 years of wandering in the desert. And every year after that, God said, I want you to celebrate this night and remember this night, celebrate the Passover as a reminder of how God delivered you. But they hadn't. Over the course of the 38 to 40 years that they were wandering in the wilderness, they hadn't done it. Now, maybe because they forgot, maybe because God said, well, you're in the wilderness, so I'll make an exception. The Bible doesn't tell us. We just know they hadn't done it in a very long time. But it was significant timing that they did it here, because it reminded them of two important things. And the first one was, of course, that God had delivered them in the past. It was a reminder that God has faced challenges before. The challenges, the same types of challenges they were going to face in Jericho, the same types of challenges they were going to face in their individual lives and different things moving forward. God had delivered them in the past, and there's value in looking back on that and reminding ourselves what kind of God we have. He's a God who has never failed to deliver us in the past. But the Passover was a reminder of a second thing. It was also a reminder that one day God will not deliver us anymore. Not because he'll stop caring, not because he'll stop loving, not because he'll stop being there for us, but because, very simply, one day there will be nothing to deliver us from. That was the promise of the original Passover, the Passover lamb. The lamb whose blood was painted over the doorframe was a picture of the perfect Passover lamb who would one day come and spill his blood over a cross to guarantee your place with God in eternity, in perfection, in a place where, according to Revelation 21, there will be no more death, no more mourning, like deep crying, no more pain. And if there's no more death, and if the things that cause us our deepest pain and our thickest tears, if they're just gone, and if there's no more pain, and of course if there's no more sin, because Jesus delivered us from all of them, then there will be nothing more for God to deliver us from. We will simply be with God. Remember God's deliverance in the past, in the Israelites' lives, in your life, and remember the day is coming when there will be nothing more for God to deliver us from. Remember those things, and rest well tonight, my friends.